I was watching the WWE Untold docuseries. Oh, bro, it's... I looked at IMDb. It only has 125 ratings. Like no one really knows about it. It's crazy because it's actually peak cinema. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm watching this, and it's just such a crazy way to like just re-experience a bunch of these matches and hear a bunch of commentary like between the wrestlers of said matches and rivalries. For example, there's this episode on Sting and his last matches, on WWE, and at the end of the docuseries, they were going on about how like he's retired, that kind of thing, and we were thinking about a dream match with Undertaker, but it's good to keep it in the dreams. And then the last part of the episode was them sitting down with Sting, and Sting commented on it, and he said, "Is like right now I what's the word? My neck and back is in a really bad situation to where if I get one really good bump, like I could be paralyzed or dead. That's my options, And he said, at the end of that episode, he said, I don't really see myself coming back. I feel like I did everything that I could, but if the stars aligned and everything was perfect and he was available and WWE was down for it and there was a slot in it for WrestleMania, I would do that match with Undertaker." And he said, "It's like, earlier I was talking about how, in order to carry on after a match, after you practically just broken your fucking neck, it has to be a level of kind of psychopathy, to really just do something like that pride and ego. And I guess I have that because I can't help but think that I could do one more, and they kind of just left it silent after that, and they let you think about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then he went on to have many more in AEW.
Yeah.
Bro was jumping off of ladders and doing all kinds of crazy shit.
Which is crazy.
Now he's he's retired. Like, he still shows up every now and then, but never for a match.
Jesus Christ. I mean, what he said about that, he was talking about that night. And he said, it's like, okay, first of all, I just want to say it right now. Seth Rollins, he didn't do anything wrong. He was perfect, textbook, in every way, shape, or form. What he did had nothing to do with how I was injured. His turnbuckle powerbomb, all that was all routine. And Seth said, like, they were interviewing him as well, but separately. And Seth said, is like, I've done that turnbuckle powerbomb thousands of times. I've never hurt anybody with it. It's never, he said it was so routine for him, and he had gone through all these motions because Sting is such a idol to him, know? And so he wanted to make sure this match was perfect. And when he did that turnbuckle powerbomb and he could tell that Sting was hurt, immediately he was in the position to where he had to be Seth Rollins for kayfabe. But he's so deathly afraid and worried because he's standing there in front of his idol who is on the floor writhing in pain and is afraid, and he can't do anything. He has to play up the crowd. He has to act like he's the villain, But in that moment, he's so fucking afraid. Like, don't tell me I just retired my hero. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so Sting, after that segment, they went on to Sting where he said, he's like, I denounce any blame towards Seth. He did nothing wrong. Everything there was perfect. It was just something that happened. It could have happened to anybody at any time. Yeah. And my body simply couldn't take those turnbuckle power bombs. But it was not Seth's fault. Any other wrestler would have been fine. Something along those lines. But that's pretty much what he said.
Yeah.
At the he hit the first turnbuckle powerbomb, and he was, he felt shocks up to his fingers, and his nerves, and he couldn't shake that feeling, but he wanted to continue the match. Then the second turnbuckle powerbomb happened, and he was fucked. And after a little while, he was able to finish the match, but you could tell WWE simply wouldn't make him do another match because he was done. He was done. He couldn't get cleared in a million years. Which is crazy because I didn't even know he went to AEW. That's true?
Yeah. He was one of the first guys they signed for AEW.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he's had plenty of matches in AEW. He was there since 2019.
That's scary, dude.
He retired this year. His last match was this year.
That's so scary.
Yeah.
Was he playing? You say he was jumping off of ladders. That motherfucker was not playing it safe. Bro.
Yeah, no, like he's done some crazy shit in his time in AEW. Like it's almost as if he was never injured.
Well, I think the interviews took place in like 2019, 2020. And you can tell, like at the end of that documentary, that mentality that he says, like, I could go in one more after stating all of those horrible injuries and said, like, I am at like the breaking point of paralyzation. I'm right fucking there. At that moment, I looked in his eyes and I was thinking, he wants to die in the ring. That's what it was. He has such a gladiator warrior mentality. He's been doing this for so long. He wants to die in the ring. That's what I took away from it. You know, kind of like the wrestler in the movie, you know, with Mickey Rourke. I was like, he wants to fucking die in the ring. You know, and thankfully that never happened. And I'm sure he's probably evolved from that from now. Like for now, that's why he's fully retired and shit. You know, but oh man. He's looking into his eyes. I'm like, you can tell that he wanted to do more and he just wasn't able to do it, you know?
Yeah. And then also the whole Sting versus Undertaker match is like, oh yeah, that could happen down the line. That was pitched for WrestleMania 31. Vince McMahon saw no money in the idea. That's why they didn't do it. That's why they did Sting versus Triple H.
Well, Vince McMahon is a fucking moron. So
he is.
That's you know.
Yeah. So we could have gotten Sting versus Undertaker, but he wanted Sting versus Triple H and Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt instead.
Yeah, that's fucking stupid. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Bray Wyatt, but like over Sting? Come on! That is literally the one dream match they could have done, and they never were able to do it. Don't get me wrong. I really like the Triple H match, but if you wanted to like choose between, motherfucker, let's go with the Undertaker. That's the match. That's the money match. What's going on? You know. Maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe Vince thought their styles wouldn't really clash together well.
I don't know. Vince is just...
He's a moron.
He's delusional. Yeah.
Well, you know, this actually makes me want to bring up another dumb Vince thing. The fact that JR had to convince Vince to sign Gail Kim through Asian pornography is criminal.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I looked through it and yeah, like it's a thing. You know what I mean? Gail Kim responded to it and everything. Gail Kim said it wasn't JR's fault. It's just how Vince operated. You know what I mean? And oh my God, that is absolutely just... The level of disrespect to the women's division is crazy, to where you have to convince is like, oh, but she's a good piece of eye candy as the seller. Like, what the fuck? Oh, yeah. Jesus Christ. Oh, it's just stupid. I'm glad Gail Kim fucking left that company twice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's it.
Real.
Jesus, it just wasn't a good time for her. That's it. And I mean, I agree. Jesus Christ. Absolute violation.
Indeed. And then, also with Seth's turnbuckle powerbomb, he doesn't do that move very often anymore. Because after he injured Sting, he also injured Finn Balor the following year.
Really?
Yeah. Honestly, that move basically ruined Finn Balor's career.
Jesus Christ!
It was when they first introduced the Universal Championship, and they had that whole tournament and everything. The final match of the tournament was Seth Rollins versus the Demon Finn Balor at that SummerSlam. And Finn Balor was gonna he won the match. He's the first ever Universal Champion, and he was supposed to be this big main event guy. They were gonna make him the face of Monday Night Raw, but because they did a turnbuckle powerbomb to the outside on the barricade, Finn Balor dislocated his wrist and his shoulder, and he had to relinquish the title on Monday Night Raw the next day.
To the outside on the barricade? What do you mean?
Yeah, instead of doing it like inside on the turnbuckle, like the powerbomb.
He did it on the steel post?
No, on the barricade, like where the crowd is.
Oh, on the barricade on the outside. Yeah.
He powerbombed him on the barricade.
The wall surrounding the ring. That's fucking crazy.
Dislocated his shoulder. The same injury that basically sidelined Rhea Ripley earlier this year when she had to relinquish her title. Same shit happened to Finn Balor. But, you know, the biggest what if with Finn Balor is if he never got injured, he'd, you know, probably be one of the top guys in the company, you know, still to this day. And that shit never happened.
Poor Finn. Yeah, I'm looking at still images now. I'm just looking at the match. Poor fucking guy.
Yeah.
You know?
Because that was also when he was, like, at the height of his popularity. Yep, that was where he got injured.
Right fucking here. Holy shit. They talk about ridiculous.
Yeah. You can see his landing on the very top photo on the left.
Left. Oh yeah. Bam. Oh yeah. Because he tried to brace himself. Was it his right shoulder?
Yeah.
Yeah, he should have just took it.
Yep.
Oh man.
And so that's kind of what the whole storyline was with last year's SummerSlam when Seth was feuding with Judgment Day, and they did Finn Balor versus Seth again. I wanted Finn Balor to win that match because it's like it would have been some kind of redemption for him.
Yeah.
But that shit never happened. And also Seth Rollins in his entrance, he came out in the same fucking gear that he was wearing for that original SummerSlam match.
Holy shit.
Just to get in his head. I was like, what a fucking dickhead, bro.
Well, you have to. Right?
Yeah, he has to play it up.
You have to milk it, dude. Oh, man. There's so many good episodes from that WWE Untold series. It's ridiculous. There's so the first episode was only 20 minutes long. Like every episode is a varying length. Sometimes it's 20, sometimes it's 40, sometimes it's an hour. Yeah. It depends. And the first episode, the first one, was Undertaker and Mankind in Hell in a Cell. So immediately I was thinking, it's like, yeah, this is going to be a good one. And it's pretty much just like the information that we saw in that reaction video. You know what I mean? But it was still really cool to look into it. And one thing, I don't think this video mentioned it, this docuseries mentioned it, but definitely something that Kane was talking about in his spare time. Not a lot of people remember me winning the world championship on that day.
Yeah, that was on the podcast. Yeah, that shit was funny as fuck, dude.
Everybody watches the damn. Yeah, everyone watches the damn Mankind versus Undertaker match. No one really remembers I won too.
Yeah, he beat Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
No one talks about it.
And no one gave a fuck. Poor Kane. Yeah. That's it. Yeah, you're right. Oh, the Shane and Angle fight. Oh my God. This was the one where Kurt Angle was desperately trying to throw Shane through a glass pane and it just wasn't working.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were talking about Vince McMahon's reaction and he was fuming in the back.
I bet.
Blowing a gasket. It's like, don't tell him not to throw him again. What are you doing? You better. Telling the referee is like, tell him not to throw him again. You better not throw him again. He throws him again. And again, fuck
it. Was
it
Shane
does all
that
this.
Wanted him to keep going. He's like, you gotta do it again. We gotta get the spot.
Shane is such a bad motherfucker, dude. I'm telling you. I feel like Shane, it wasn't really showed in this docuseries, but like in the Mr. McMahon Netflix show, you can tell that Shane was doing a lot of this just to get like the, what's the word? Like the impression from his father, the approval from his father. You could really feel that his father's opinion of him meant everything. So yeah, he went the extra mile. Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, it made me so sad on the Netflix show when they talked about him jumping off the Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania 32, and just the look on his face, he's like, yep, I got a hug that day. I was like, damn, all that for a fucking hug.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, immediately I was thinking, it's like, yeah, Vince is a fucking imbecile moron.
Put your life on the line in front of your kids.
Yeah.
For a hug. Nah,
to be honest, I wouldn't bring my kids to that event. I'm being honest, because that's 25-foot fall, 30-foot fall. Man, all it takes is a couple fucking feet.
Yeah, it's like that Survivor Series match where Shane McMahon got injured. Like, I think he had a concussion, and his sons were ringside. So Randy Orton broke character, went over to the front row, and he was just basically saying like, "Hey, your dad's gonna be all right. It's nothing too serious. It's gonna be fine."
He really should. And like a lot of UFC fighters, not a lot, but some of them think like, you know what, I could be the best fighter in the world. I'm not going to bring my fucking family to the front row.
Oh yeah,
like,
no, never.
They could support me, you know, but I would never bring them there because if I get knocked out hellaciously or even worse, die in the octagon, I don't want them to be there to see that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just how it is, you know, and I'm of that mentality too. If I was ever a performer, it's like, if there's something where I have to deal with danger, my children would not attend that event. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Because they don't need to see their dad in mortal danger. They really don't.
Yeah.
Now, if it was like my father, you know, something like that, where it's like, oh, you want to be proud of me, see some craziness, maybe, right? Because it's like, okay, yeah, you want to see some craziness, you want to be proud, you want to be there live. Because parents tend to insist. It's like, I'm going to be there. It's like, all right. You know?
But if it's like kids or like a spouse.
Yeah, my kids or my spouse where I have a bit more agency, I'm going to tell them, is like, you're good. No, you don't have to. It's fine.
You're not missing anything.
You know? You're not missing anything. Exactly. You're not
Yeah.
missing anything. I come home, I bring it 2 times, and then, that's it. That's all you got to know. That's it. That's it.
This is a bit off topic, but it reminds me of Dominic Mysterio. When he's asked about, it's like, hey, what does your wife think about the whole, like Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan thing? And it's just like, oh, she doesn't really, care.
Yeah.
I text her when I'm done with the show, and she's like, oh, there was a spider in the garage. Like that's the first text he'd get. It's like, all right, she
Roger that.
Yeah. Have you seen Chris Van Vliet just did an interview with Dominic Mysterio this week? Have you seen clips from it?
I've seen some, yeah.
Dude,
he's in character.
He stays in character, bro.
I love it. I love the kayfabe.
Did you see the fucking it's like, can you say one nice thing about Rey Mysterio? And he's like, he has really great hair. And there's like a long pause, and it's like, Rey Mysterio has great hair. It's like, yeah, have you seen it? It's like, he doesn't have hair. And then Dom is just, sucks to suck.
Yeah. Fucking hell, Dom. No, the fucking, what's the word? I did Chris Van Vliet. He asked, he's like, so how about your father? How about your dad? It's like, dad. Oh, you mean deadbeat? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, damn. Oh, man. I got so much respect for Dom. And the reason, I think the hardest thing he's ever done, and I know it, because if I was in that situation, it would be for me, is walking out on his Father Hall of Fame speech in 2023.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. That is...
The balls to do that.
Dude, you can tell when he was walking back with Rhea was holding him. He was holding tears back, bro.
Oh, yeah. Because that's such a big moment.
And he couldn't be there. He had to keep kayfabe. Yeah, if I was in that situation and I was with my wife or whatever beforehand, I tell her, it's like, listen, I'm gonna do this to keep kayfabe, but I need you to be the first thing I see when I come through the curtain. Yeah. So I hope his wife was right there. You know what I mean?
For sure.
You need that comfort. That is fucking ridiculous, dude. Like, nobody in that group that was walking, I don't think anybody was smiling.
No.
I don't think anybody was smiling.
It's such a disrespectful fucking thing to do. Like, I get that that's the point of it, but I mean, come on. Like,
and
you could have waited till after.
I guarantee you, Rey Mysterio told him a million times, like, Dom, don't worry about it. It's good. We're gonna get this good reaction. It's all right. Don't worry about it. It's like, and Dominic knew, I had to do it, and all that. But Rey, he sees him walking away, and you could tell even Ray's hurt a little bit. It's man. But I don't think he's hurt because he's disrespected. He's hurt because he can feel his sons are hurt. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, fucking poor kid. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm going to handle my business come Sunday.
Honestly, I love Dominic Mysterio, bro. And, I remember he was talking about, or it was Ray talking about in an interview how his wife was always just like, oh, being a bad guy is perfect for Dom. And Ray is just like, oh, I never really saw him in that way. And she's just like, yeah, well, you were on the road all the time. I was home with him all day. It's like, this little demon.
Bro, she told him how it was. She's like, yeah, but you're never here. Oh, shit, my bad.
But I mean, it's true. Because, if someone's going to have an accurate opinion, it's going to be the mom. She was with Dom every fucking day.
I didn't know you were going to slap me with that reality. You know what I mean? Jesus Christ. Yeah. Fucking hell. Oh, I gotta love Rey Mysterio. That dynamic between them, it's crazy. Because, in the beginning when he was just like a baby, a baby face and all that, working with his dad is, some other YouTuber said it, I don't remember who, but it was like the most obvious nepotism hire of all time, right? It's like, sure. Of course, But now it's to a point where it's like, okay, he's pretty much just Eddie Guerrero, you know what I mean, at this point. You gotta love it. I don't mind it. I love it. The bro's wrestling between 2 women, constantly getting his ass whipped every show,
Yeah, I mean, the shit that Dom said in that same interview with Chris Van Vliet, he was saying some shit about how he was talking about how he always questions his mom on if Ray's his real dad. He's like, it's the 90s, things were crazy. Anything could have happened.
So you never know. Yeah, dude. Oh, man. And that was the narrative, too, back in the SummerSlam 2005. It's like, that really is my son. What's the word? I wasn't ready at the time, so I told Ray to look after him like he was my son, or his son, rather, And then he wanted him back, and then they had the ladder match, Yeah. Gotta love it. That was peak.
I love Dom, though. He's probably one of my favorites on the roster.
He's special. That's all it is.
You love to hate him.
He's holding it down. He's
Yeah.
holding it down right now, absolutely. I think the Judgment Day storyline is a little too repetitive right now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's like every week someone's getting beaten up, same
Hmm.
matches, it's all right. And but besides that, besides some of the repetition, it's still a really cool, fresh idea that I just hope that they can continue to execute well with when it comes to PLEs.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
we'll
and I
see.
like the idea of Judgment Day just having revolving members.
Yeah.
Because like imagine it like in 5 years, it's like all the members of the Judgment Day now are all gone, and it's like a whole different group. Like that'd be interesting.
Well, yeah, revolving door. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're like probably somebody who's been there the longest. I think if anybody's gonna be Carlito.
You think so?
Yeah, no, probably Finn, but
Yeah, I could definitely see Finn. Yeah.
I think it's gonna be Finn, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was Carlito because it's always the mascot that lasts the longest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's always the mascot character, the guy that's just there for the comedic moments. Yeah, like
Yeah.
whatever
I mean,
works.
it
Put
would
it
be
in.
interesting if it ends up being Dom that stays in it the longest. Maybe ends up
Yeah,
being the leader. But like
that too.
that'd be interesting.
That would be interesting. You think he's ever gonna hit like main event status?
I kind of
Or
hope
he's,
he does. Like
you know,
I think he's definitely improved so much in like the last couple of years, but I do think that in ring he could use a little more work.
I think what needs to happen, right, is that he's got to go through a couple more years of building his character, going ultra heel, and then he needs to be off television for like 3 months or 6 months, however long,
Make
and
a
he
big
needs
comeback.
to build. He needs to make. I'm talking muscle mass out the yin yang. He needs to look like prime Eddie Guerrero. You know what I mean? If he gets like some solid muscle mass in, he looks fucking like the Drew McIntyre change. Now, not
Yeah,
entirely, because Drew is a freak, right?
Yeah.
But Dom needs to get his own version of the Drew McIntyre shift, and
Yeah.
then he could become a main eventer. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Right
and then-
now he's just developing his craft and building off of others. So that's perfect.
Yeah, for sure.
He's got plenty of
definitely-
time. He's a young kid, you know?
He definitely needs to separate himself from the whole Liv and Rhea thing eventually, because it's
Of
like
course.
right now this is the one thing that's building him as a character, and so it's like we don't really see him much as a solo act. So I think he definitely needs to work on that.
Absolutely. And if he wants to adapt more of Eddie's style, I would absolutely be down with that. The whole lie, cheat, and steal shit. Like, I want to see him pull off moves from Eddie, because Eddie would be so in love with that idea. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's like, absolutely. Fucking do his own thing. Don't get me wrong, but I definitely want to see more of that crazy homage shit. I want to see him throw a chair at somebody and say he did it. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly. Yeah, just do some crazy shit.
Absolutely. Fuck it. You know what I mean? Let's go. Because
Yeah,
Ray
I
did
mean-
that to Dom, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so at one point.
Yeah.
And then Dom's he's already got the Eddie Guerrero mullet. So,
Just saying, he could pull it off. There's an episode on WWE Unknown surrounding like the relationship between Ray and Eddie.
Oh, okay.
And oh my god, it is the best episode in the entire docuseries, and it's got some really good episodes, but this one I wanted to fucking cry at the end. You know what I mean? Because it's so real. The brotherhood that they had, because they started talking right at the beginning. They started talking about how there were two kinds of wrestlers. There were the Destinos and the Technicos. And so that was the good guys and the bad guys. It's probably the other way around. But yeah, either way, it's the good guys and the bad guys. And Eddie, he was so good at playing both, but he was usually the bad guy, you know? And you talk about how they grew up in the same areas, how Eddie was building his own name in the indie circuits,
Yeah.
and over time, when they went to WCW and they did some crazy stuff, and then just every single person that they brought on, Kurt Angle, everybody was saying how Eddie Guerrero was literally perfect in the ring, as he communicated very well. He had great charisma. He built off the crowd so well. He was the epitome of perfection, and he was gone too soon, right?
Yeah.
And they sat Ray down and they started talking to Ray about the day he found out that Eddie died. And what happened was Ray was going to share a flight with Eddie to the next event. But instead of sharing that flight, he took a red eye and he took a separate flight. And so once he got to his destination, somebody from the WWE crew was there with him, helping him unpack or something along those lines. And the guy told him, "Hey, did you hear about Eddie?" And Ray was like, "No, what happened?" And the guy told him that Eddie died in his hotel room. And Ray, he everything stopped, everything freezed. He drove straight to the hotel and he went into the apartment room where he was, and he talked to the doctor who was on scene, and the doctor went on to the forensics guys and said, "Can these guys see Eddie one last time before you guys take him away?" They let him, and when they walked in, Eddie was on the floor on his back, and Ray said that Ray and Chavo were there. Chavo was there too, and Ray was there, and he remembers like just dropping to his knees and just bawling, crying out.
Breaking down.
Ray was broken. Yeah. Eddie was broken. We were all not Eddie. Chavo was broken. Everyone was broken. And a week or so after the service, they did a memorial to Eddie, that kind of thing, and that launched Ray's push in the Rumble. And they showed like different like interviews and like press conferences where he was like, "Mira hermano, I'm gonna do this for you. This Royal Rumble I dedicate to you, Eddie." They also addressed like some of the criticism. It's like, well, why are we still wrestling after Eddie dies? Like everyone's still reeling from Eddie's death, And Rey Mysterio said, "Is like I don't have a problem with continuing the show because it was so hard for us and it was so difficult for us. But the one thing that got me by, was the fact that Eddie would have wanted the show to go on. We thought, what would Eddie want? Yeah. And Eddie wanted the show to go on. So that's exactly what we did, and we dedicated our work for him. And yeah, sooner or later, it became that magical swan song where Ray came into number 2, beat the world record for longest time in the Rumble, and was the winner of that said Royal Rumble. And the heel work that was built off of Triple H, who entered at number 1 with Ray, was perfect. And Triple H talks about how there's a lot of planning that goes on to like the exact timing that you do certain moves near the end and when you get eliminated. And I knew that the only way to make this as believable as possible that Ray could get screwed is if I get eliminated second to last and that Randy and Ray were in the ring as the last 2. Because you're thinking Randy's going to pull off some crazy heel work, and Randy's a young prodigy who could win. Exactly. And they could screw over Ray. Right? And of course, they do the whole thing where Ray's desperately fighting, and he does that fucking head scissor, and Randy goes over the top rope, and Randy's just astonished and awestruck. He said, like, and Randy said, it's like, just in that moment, Ray said, is like, in that moment when Randy went over the top rope and he sold it for me, and he looked up and he was in awe and shock, and the crowd just lit up. It was the most powerful thing in the world for him because Eddie's name was still alive in that moment. Eddie was there watching over him in that moment. And I mean, when he won the championship, he would say that it's like, Eddie's still here. And this championships, I won this for you, Eddie, that kind of thing. His name is still alive in WWE to this day because, for once, WWE wised up and actually made a good storyline revolving around real-world events. And it wasn't to placate the story or how some critics say how they took advantage of the situation. No, they did it because Ray and their families, the Guerrero family, they know damn well that Eddie would have wanted this. And the fact that Ray got pushed into the main event scene through this and continued to win championships afterward. I mean, that's not disrespecting Eddie in my book. There's some people who think that's that's how it works, and they criticize WWE for it. I'm not one of those people. It's just, it was beautiful, and it made me want to go rewatch the match. And yeah, with all of that extra weight added onto it, it really is just a swan song of Ray representing Mexican culture, representing the luchador, all of that. Ray mentioned a long time ago, back when he was in the Indies. No, when he was in WCW, Eric Bischoff was unmasking the luchadors one by one. And eventually, it got down to Rey Mysterio's name on the list. And he was working with Eddie. Eddie was able to get by that day and not have to unmask Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, that was Halloween Havoc, right?
Yeah, Eddie, what's the word? He lobbied for it, and he was able to save Rey Mysterio's unmasking. So.
Even though WCW did it later.
What, ECW did? Yeah, they unmasked him, and what? Did he block his face immediately, or was it just fully?
No, WCW, Rey Mysterio was unmasked. And so once a luchador's unmasked, it's tradition that you basically can't put the mask back on. And so for a lot of his WCW run, Rey Mysterio was just unmasked. And it wasn't until he got that WCW got bought out and then he got signed to WWE that they brought the mask back. And he even had to get permission and stuff to do that from, I don't know, somewhere. Like I think like somewhere in Mexico, the wrestling community there. They basically had to give Ray permission to use the mask again because it goes against tradition that he was already unmasked. But it wasn't Eddie that did it, but he did get unmasked eventually in WCW.
Right. Well, I'm glad that they were able to give him a fresh start as well, because that's just not something what's the word? That's just not something, you don't fuck with that kind of heritage. If they don't want to fucking unmask, you don't do it. But the fact that Eric Bischoff, Ray was talking about it, and Eric said pretty much is like, you're under contract, you do what you're told. That's pretty much what the conversation went like. So when I hear shit like that, I'm like, wow, that's fucking horrible. You know what I mean?
It is.
This is Mexican wrestling heritage, all right? I don't want to fucking unmask. I shouldn't have to. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Right, yeah, and then look at just how much money WWE's made from the mask being a symbol. It's like
absolutely ridiculous how much money they made off of that shit. Which you could argue, well, you're commercializing it, bro. Let Rey Mysterio make his fucking commission. You know what I mean? Let him make his percentage, bro.
Exactly.
Fuck. If other people want to celebrate cultures that they're not a part of, why is that such a bad thing? Like the Ula Fala. Yeah. It's like, oh, I wanna, what's the word? I wanna buy my own or make my own commemorative. I understand WWE not commercializing it because it is pretty sacred, you know, but yeah, como se dice, but the fact that people want that Ula Fala or that kind of thing, that's not racist. It's not a bad thing. Yeah. There's plenty of people in that Samoan community where it's like, I just like that our culture is being more widespread and people are embracing it. You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
That's it. I don't know why it's so bothersome, you know? It just is what it is. People are weird. The people love getting offended for people who aren't offended.
Real.
It's fucking ridiculous. Como se dice, there's another episode of Untold, with Kurt Angle versus HBK in their WrestleMania 21 match. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen that match. I saw the episode. I didn't see the match.
Yeah.
Just from the episode, I was like, this is the best wrestling match of all time. How have I not seen this shit?
Yeah. You hear Kurt Angle versus HBK and you're like, oh, 5 stars.
Yeah, immediately, right? Yeah. No, dude. Yeah, I remember just seeing one part where Kurt Angle put Shawn Michaels in the ankle lock. It was near the end. And motherfucker was in the ankle lock. And then Shawn Michaels turned him over and kicked him off. But Kurt Angle held on and fucking twisted back into the position like a few times before finally cinching it in. Like, that is so crazy. I've never seen that shit before. It's so crazy. Just the little things. When Shawn Michaels fucking did that springboard off onto the fucking announcement table, holy shit, you know?
They went all out for that shit.
Oh my God. And the fact Dave Meltzer didn't rate that 5, I mean, come on. Jesus Christ. There was one where Triple H and Mick Foley and what's the word? I think it was in 2000. It was Triple H and Mick. Yeah, exactly. It was Triple H, Mick Foley, the street fight, and then it was their Hell in a Cell match afterwards. Triple H said that I think the biggest contributor to Triple H becoming a main event contender was that rivalry with Mick Foley.
Yep, 100%.
You know? And, I mean, just him talking about the play-by-play and Mick Foley talking about what his opinion was. It's like, there's a lot of risk-reward in this game. The reward being the pop from the crowd. And the risk being, you know, how dangerous the fucking, the move you're about to do is. And so when I told Hunter that I wanted to get pedigrees on the tax, in the back of my mind, I was thinking, you know, I could lose an eye over this.
Yeah.
But think about the pop.
Yeah.
You know? What a crazy motherfucker. I love it. You know, so, you know, just looking back at those matches and hearing their opinions on it as it's going, and like, it's really refined. They add music to hype up the storyline that they're trying to talk about. It's just, it really is peak cinema. Like, this docuseries is really good. And the fact that it's like underwhelmingly rated, like not a lot of people have seen it. It's crazy because it's like there's some genuinely good shit here. Feel good moments. They thought I like great interviews.
Yeah.
And it's got nothing.
You telling me about it, I think I've definitely seen some episodes from here, but because I remember there was this account on TikTok that would post like basically full episodes from this, and I would just watch it. And that was before I had like Peacock and stuff, so you know.
Oh man. I'm telling you, dog. It's just I'm not even. That's the thing, right? I turn this on just to listen to it in the background. I can't do it. I have to sit down and watch it.
Yeah,
It's
you
so
get locked
fucking
in.
cool.
Yeah, all the editing and everything, and seeing the clips of the matches, and you're like, damn.
Cinema. It's that smooth.
Yeah.
You know, I'm in the last couple episodes of the third season, and right now I'm on this episode between the Undertaker and the Randy Orton's feud back when Undertaker was 12-0 at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And it ended with like I don't think it ended with the casket match, but I'm on that part right now.
Oh yeah.
And it's just what's hilarious about that match was that Randy at the end wanted to set the casket on fire. The thing is, he was dousing the whole thing in kerosene, and the adrenaline was pumping through him that he didn't realize that he was getting his shoes and boots soaked in kerosene as well.
Of course.
You know? So he was fucking going there, and the guys like right off stage, you know, like behind the barricades, were ready with the fire extinguishers because they knew it's like, Randy, you're gonna set yourself on fucking fire here.
Yeah.
You know, we got to be ready. And Bruce Pritchard was in the back, just like waiting for Randy because Randy was trying to hit the lighter and the lighter wasn't going. So Bruce Pritchard was like, I was ready to run in there and like tackle Randy just to like slip him the lighter. Thankfully, that never happened, you know. But yeah, so Randy got the lighter and he hit it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when he hit the kerosene, it was like a little fire. It was like manageable, and then it whooshed in front of him, so he had to back up quickly.
Yeah.
And he said the fire came literally like an inch. He used his hand like an inch or two away from my feet. I was that close to being set ablaze. You know? Fucking ridiculous, dude. You know.
But what a moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And then they fire extinguish it later.
Yeah.
It's just seeing just the background interviews, just them talking about these feuds and talking about how they're going to build up a newer talent, that kind of thing, right? Like Undertaker was bringing it up as like, you know, for me, whenever I'm wrestling with younger talent, a lot of older guys, a lot of guys in my position want to keep the younger talent down because they're afraid for their positions. But for me, I understand that the business comes first. You know, and so when he went over to OVW, you know, the developmental for Randy, Batista, stuff like that, he would actually wrestle with Batista, and Undertaker would sell for him because that's just what you do. And what's the word? Undertaker said those things, whereas like, you know, I have to make sure that I'm bringing up new talent because I'm business first. And at that moment, I paused and I said audibly out loud, I said, like, listen, Undertaker, every single person that has that mentality that they need to keep the younger talent down is insecure about their own in-ring acumen, okay? You don't have to worry about that. Undertaker, you have one of the best in-ring acumens of any superstar ever. You have a gimmick that is non-replicable. Nobody can replicate what you did in the WWE. I had to audibly say that because I'm like, don't sell yourself short here, Taker. There's a reason why you're not insecure. There's a reason why you're not trying to keep people down because you don't have to. You know, you'll outclass every single one of them every time. It is what it is. Fuck you know. Do you know the rivalry between John Cena and Edge, where like Edge had the spinner belt, and they were talking about that promo where Edge went to John Cena's dad's house and
Clap the shit out of him.
dude. But the thing is, right, is they actually showed like all the raw footage of like the actual recording, and John Cena's dad is the worst actor imaginable. Like, he was bringing his, John Cena said like he was bringing his like New York vaudevillain out, and he was so overpronounced. It was ridiculous. It was so bad that Vince McMahon brought Bruce Pritchard into his office and yelled at him, talking about I can't do anything with this. What the fuck is this? What did you guys do over there? That's it. So they had to have Edge ad-lib the clip live because they just didn't have time.
Wow.
You know? That's it. It's ridiculous. They were able to do something with it, and as Cena Sr. said, they were able to get plenty of mileage out of it, but he doesn't know how the hell they did because it was awful. So, you know, so they were able to make it good. And they were talking about that moment where Edge was thrown into the Long Island Sound. Turns out the Long Island Sound is the most polluted lake in all of America. And so when he got thrown in there, the people who went in to dive in for him, like, you know, they were covered in like full PPE and scuba gear, you know, and all that. And Edge looks around like, I'm in fucking tights, you know?
Yeah.
That's it. And then they showed footage of him getting lifted onto the boat, which I've never seen before. This is just all raw footage they had access to, you know? And what's the word? It's like, yeah, no, after that, I was sick for like a week. It was ridiculous. You know? Jesus Christ. So yeah, it was fun to know those little things. And they were talking about that spot in their TLC match where John Cena, first of all, John Cena is afraid of heights. He's definitely afraid of heights. Mm-hmm. And so in that match, when they were talking it over with creative, it's like, we could do that, all that. And then John Cena mentions, it's like, I'm afraid of heights. So I don't know how that's going to, and Bruce Pritchard looks at him and is like, okay, have a good match. That's it. Just
have fun.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly. Like, you don't have to face your fears, Johnny. I'm like, all right, fine. So John goes out there, they have their match, and John, como se dice, he does the 5-knuckle shuffle from the ladder. He falls 20 feet from that fucking ladder down to the floor through a table, all that stuff. And he was able to do it. And Edge respects him for that because he was definitely afraid of heights, But by the end of the match, he seemed comfortable up there, So at the end of the match, Edge, Edge and Cena are on opposing sides of the ladder, and they're punching each other. Mm-hmm. And they wanted to pull off this spot.
The double tables.
Edge wanted to get AA'd through 2 tables off a ladder. Mm-hmm. And John Cena, the first thing he said when he was presented this idea was, do we really need to do this? You just fell off the ladder onto the floor through 2 tables. Do we really need to do this to get over? And Edge is like, listen, just go with it. Yeah. It. And Cena said, he looked directly into the camera when he said this. And he said, let me tell you right now, I would have never done the spot if I wasn't 100% sure I wasn't able to carry it out. Mm-hmm. And you know how like Big Show has mentioned about John Cena's just freakish power. It's like, when Brock Lesnar picks me up, Mark Henry, all that, they're good. But when John Cena picks me up, I could fucking order a pizza. You know what I mean? I'm just chilling, right? And so it's the same thing with Edge. He puts him up on his shoulders. He throws him off, and he holds his hand to target him. And then once he's in a good position, he lets go. And you can see it, too, in real time. Mm-hmm. And it's just... It's crazy to think. First of all, what crazy strength and bravery from John Cena. At the end of the docuseries, they're both like emotional. Edge is like, I believe that at that moment, I needed to be the Roddy Piper to John Cena's Hulk Hogan. Mm-hmm. I needed to be the ultimate mega heel and to turn the fans against me towards him. And he says, like, if I had one regret in this business, is that I wasn't able to turn that Toronto, Canada crowd against me. Mm-hmm. They still love them, right? And, to be honest, I see what he means. But I also really like the fact that John Cena's walked into hostile environments and still came out the stronger man, and you could just respect him for that. Yeah. Like ECW one night stand, you know what I mean? That's just how it is. So like, I don't really mind that dynamic, but I see where Edge is coming from because that would have been the ultimate heel move to have your own hometown boo you. Yeah, for real. But I also don't blame him in the moment because he's always getting booed. It's like, I get cheered for once, It's like, it's a nice change of pace, you know what I mean? That's it. So I see what he means. But, at the end, Edge was just like, I think we both came out of that. I believe with any rivalry, both parties need to come out of it stronger. And I think we did exactly that. And John Cena said, it's like, Edge is simply like the greatest human being. And he was tearing up, you know what I mean? Because he's like the nicest, like the sweetest, the most like connecting guy, like one of the best guys I've ever worked with, that kind of thing. And he's emotional by the end of it because I'm like, all I'm thinking is like, damn, these guys went to war. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? These guys went through so much together and they were able to come out the other side, Yeah. Just fucking crazy. And that little interviews like that really make me fall in love with the business. You gotta love WWE. Oh my God. It's ridiculous. Yeah. So yeah, that's...
Edge is just crazy too. I remember on Inside the Ropes when he was talking about the flaming table with Mick Foley, me getting FU'd off a ladder through 2 tables. He said, if you ever see me do anything stupid to my body, it was probably my idea.
Oh yeah, like did you see that one clip about Beth Phoenix and Edge in AEW. I was like, he jumped off that fucking cage. And he landed on his foot and he tweaked his ankle. Yeah.
Yep.
I was like, he didn't tell me he was gonna do that. He just did it.
Exactly.
That's it.
That's just how he is.
That's fucking ridiculous. And then in the comments it was like, well, he should have known better not to land on his foot. And it was like, yeah, you're probably right, guys. That's it. But it is what it is.
Yeah, no, that match at Unforgiven 2006, I used to watch that shit all the time.
Peak cinema.
That's like probably one of the most rewatched matches like ever.
You know the STFU, like the submission hold that he does. Yeah,
on the ladder.
He actually, he sandwiched the ladder. Edge actually passed out.
Really?
Yeah, Edge actually, because there was extra leverage from the ladder, and John Cena just wasn't aware. He even said it in the interview. It was like, I would never knew that Edge was in jeopardy. He didn't really let me know. So he passed out, and what Edge remembers is that when he passed out is that he could hear like an alarm, and he thought that he was late for like a flight. and then eventually when he woke up, he realized that he was gurgling, making that alarm sound. And when he was looking up, he was looking at like a Canada Airlines logo. So his mind just made the connection for him. Oh my God. Fucking ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, no, that match and that feud has always been great.
Peak cinema. And we know what's even crazier is that not two matches beforehand, it was DX versus Vince, Shane, and Big Show in Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
I used to rewatch that match all the time as well. That card also had Trish versus Lita.
Yeah.
Trish's retirement match.
Yeah, and Lita lost the title. Yeah. Yep. Fucking ridiculous. Like, I'm telling you, peak cinema, that one. I gotta watch that pay-per-view again.
Yeah, and I think that one also had Randy Orton versus Carlito, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was like one of the first like springboard RKOs I've ever seen in my life.
We need to recreate that PLE on 2K24, not gonna lie. We can do
Unforgiven.
That. Easy. I'm sure there's a community creation somewhere. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, probably. And then the FU through the two tables always looked like the craziest spot. But then when you get older and you learn more about like wrestling, it's like, oh, it's like one of the safest things they could have done.
Yeah, absolutely. Those outside falls.
Oh no, the outside ones is crazy.
Those are deadly, bro. Like,
yeah.
And then it's crazy how, like, I think it was in 2008, it was One Night Stand. It was Undertaker versus Edge. And Undertaker, there were 4 tables stacked on top of each other, so 2 and 2. And Undertaker did that through 4 different fucking tables. Like, oh my God. What is going on? You're too old to be taking those bumps, Mark. I appreciate you, but please don't do that again.
Yeah,
Jesus.
And I think SummerSlam 02, they did a similar thing with like the 4 tables set up. It was Triple H versus Shawn Michaels. I think Shawn missed like one of the tables. So he went through like 3 of them, and then the other one, which didn't break, just landed on him. And he had to like kick it off.
Bro, nobody ever hits all 4. Taker didn't hit all 4 either.
Yeah.
He missed one. It was the closest to him on the ground. So thankfully it didn't fall on him or anything. But yeah, no one ever hits all 4.
Yeah, no, never.
Jesus Christ. Absolutely ridiculous. Dude, I have to go down like the Mick Foley rabbit hole, because now all I'm thinking is like Mick Foley said is in that Triple H versus Cactus Jack's rivalry is like, I've written a lot of receipts. I've written a lot of like receipts for my body, and my body was just cashing it in all at the same time, and that was around 2000. So like these were gonna be like some of my final matches in WWE. Lie, but
yeah. But, I mean, that was the plan originally.
That was the plan, right. But then, of course, at the time, Stone Cold, I believe, got injured, and so it's like, okay, we need another icon. We need to build up another main event character, and that's when Vince McMahon brought up the idea. It's like, you got to bring back Cactus Jack, and you got to build up Triple H, and so that's what he did, and it. Dude, I got nothing but respect for Mick. It's fucking ridiculous what he was able to do.
He made Triple H.
Absolutely.
Definitely. And, I think that year would be looked on more fondly if they didn't screw up the main event of WrestleMania. But, besides that, that rivalry. The main event was Triple H versus The Rock versus Big Show versus Cactus Jack. But what all the fans wanted was Triple H versus The Rock. Because that was so like Triple H and Cactus Jack were having their feud, and that was the same year that when The Rock won the Royal Rumble, but his feet actually like hit the bottom, and like Big Show went over, and so they had like their feud going on, and then they just turned that into a fatal 4-way for WrestleMania. But what all the fans wanted, and then what Triple H and The Rock really wanted, was that 1v1 main event match for WrestleMania, and that fatal 4-way match just isn't really that good. But I think. Is it Judgment Day? There's a pay-per-view, or like Armageddon or something. There's a pay-per-view like right after WrestleMania where they did Triple H versus The Rock, and that match is fucking amazing. And I'm just like, I wish that was just the main event of WrestleMania that year. That fatal 4-way just kind of ruined it.
And I'm thinking about it right now. It's like, why wouldn't you cash in on Triple H versus Rock? That would be such a crazy match.
Yeah, and even to this day, Triple H and The Rock still talk about how they never got their one-on-one match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, that is pretty stupid. It is what it is.
Yeah, and then the only spot I remember from that fatal 4-way was that I think it was The Rock was laid out on the announce table, and Triple H was telling Mick Foley to like get on the top rope and like hit him with like an elbow drop or some shit through the table. And so, Mick Foley gets up on the turnbuckle, he jumps to the announce table, and he fucking misses. He hits the edge of the announce table with his elbow. I was like, God damn.
Damn! Poor Mick. Bro's too old for this shit.
Yeah,
Why are they asking Mick, the guy who's injured to all high heaven, to get on the top rope? Motherfucker, you get on the top rope. You do it.
Yeah, and it's funny because it's a fatal 4-way. It's like, why is he listening to what Triple H is telling him to do?
That's what I'm saying.
Like, weren't you just feuding with this guy for like 3 months?
It's like asking Big Show to hit the top rope. You just don't do it. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, do you want to kill him?
I've always felt bad for Mick in that spot, bro, because you know that shit hurt, dude. He hit the edge of the table, bro, with the elbow drop. Nah, the table didn't even break or anything. It moved.
Jesus.
The table moved, but it didn't break.
Jesus Christ. Nah, dude. And what's crazy is like Mick has a history of like over time going through so much that he's not able to do certain things. For example, in the Hell in a Cell match where he fucking fell halfway through off the cell and hit the tables. When he was trying to get back up, he was throwing a steel chair up there. He threw it like 3 times and he wasn't able to get it to the top of the cage. He just climbed it, and it kept falling down. It almost hit JR. Oh man, he just said, "Oh no, you sent me the fucking thing." Okay, here we go. Low bit rate. Let's go, baby.
Old school WWF.
Here we go. Oh, not gonna lie. Yeah. He's just chilling. Okay. I thought it was gonna be from the other turnbuckle, and that's why he missed. He's really close.
Yeah, he's really close.
Oh no. No!
Oh, poor Mick, man.
Poor Mick. He should have went further down the ropes and got some spring action. You know what I mean? Oh,
and if you play the 2K14 showcase mode, they recreate that moment in a cutscene of Mick missing the table.
No way they animated that shit. Oh my God.
I gotta find that.
The cut. Triple H is like, all right, fine, I'll do it myself. Oh man, that is ridiculous, bro. You can tell bro didn't want to do it either.
Yeah, he was just so uncomfortable. I was like, no, you got to do it now.
Yeah, like Hunter, I'm not too sure about this. Someone fucking do it, Foley. All right. Oh no. Which one is this?
2K14.
2K14. Oh.
Because 14 had the 30 years of WrestleMania showcase mode, and so you played through 1 or 2 matches from every single WrestleMania leading up to WrestleMania 29. Because 30 hadn't happened yet at the time of that game release.
That's crazy. Damn. You're like, this is what I expected.
Yeah, the distance making more sense. Yeah,
he's way further. Yeah, at least they did him a niceness. Yeah, it's like, you know what? Let's just opposing corners. Yeah,
yeah.
That's it.
Oh boy.
Damn.
They get Ron Simmons on commentary. Damn.
Oh. And The Rock just rolls off this time. No, definitely the original clip is funnier.
Yeah, because
Triple H follows it up.
they didn't need to do that. They didn't need to do all that.
Peak cinema. Oh man. But I'll say, I love WWE, and this Untold series is great. I'm still like I said, I got 6 episodes left. So I got a couple of things in front of me.
Oh, Edge versus Foley.
Yeah, Edge versus Foley. I know that's going to be good. I know this is going to be good. Kevin Nash and Shawn Michaels just talking about life, Goldberg streak, like I got some good shit in front of me. The Bayley and Sasha one was actually really good because it was like their big NXT takeover match.
Yeah, was it the Iron Woman match?
Yeah, it was pretty much just like the match that I don't know if it was the Iron Woman. I forget which stipulation it was, but it was basically the one where like at the end, everyone knew it's like this is the match that ushered in a new age of women's wrestling.
Yeah,
and at the end, Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair come out, like everyone dropped the kayfabe, everyone was hugging each other and shit. Just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I remember watching that match between them. That shit is genuinely really fucking good.
I hear you. People were like, "This is a 5-star match." Even Seth Rollins was in the crowd, and a tear was in his eye. It's crazy. The love of wrestling.
Yeah, for real.
Peak cinema.
Yeah, no, on Peacock I watched all the way through Ruthless Aggression, and I didn't watch all the episodes, but I did watch a bunch of Evil, like the villain documentary. Those were pretty good. They just make great documentaries.
I've seen the Ruthless Aggression. I need to see Undertaker Last Ride. I still haven't seen it.
Yeah, that one I need to see as well. I've seen like the first episode.
I hear it's fucking peak, bro. I gotta get into that.
Yeah.
There's just so much here. But yeah, WWE Untold is definitely, it's genuinely good story-wise. It's just great.
I am the tag team champions. I am the tag team champions.
This was so light and funny. It was ridiculous. I love the Team Hell No clip because they were just talking about like how everything came to be and how really they wanted to be called Team Friendship, but I guess Team Hell No will work,
Yeah.
It's just peak cinema. And then this one here, it basically just went through the entire match of Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker in Hell in a Cell.
That's gotta be Kane.
Yeah. Oh, man. I'm telling you. And I remember Undertaker talking about Shawn. It's like, you know what? Me and Shawn, we're good now. We're friends, buddy. But back then, if he was on fire, I wouldn't piss on him to put him out.
Yeah. He fucking hated his guts.
Yeah, because two very different people. Shawn was obnoxious and whatever the fuck, and Undertaker was just cool and collected, And when it comes to Shawn, you remember that one bit where he kind of just ushered in the Attitude Era. Shawn, he walked in with the fucking shorts and the fucking the stuffed pants. And he had nothing but fucking shorts on. He went out there and was grinding and bumping and shit for like 20 minutes. All because someone said he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
That's it. Absolutely ridiculous. Jesus. And so Vince fined him, but then afterward he went over to Bruce Prichard and is like, we need more of that. We need attitude. And it's like, yeah. Wonderful. Jesus Christ. You got fined $10,000? That's crazy.
Of course he did.